curfew is now over. It is safe to leave your homes. Tonight's curfew will commence at 1900 hours. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you.
How's everybody doing today? It is November 3rd, 2020, and it is the day that so many people have been waiting for in the United States. Or maybe so many people have been waiting for this day to be over in the United States. So one way or another, I'm sure you're happy that this day has come. So we are going to run through some articles here because the research that I have done in the last day or so has, I could make 5 videos just, and it would not even, touch any of it, just the tip of the iceberg. It is seriously, everything we talked about, everything with the lockdowns, the tracking and the tracing, the vax, everything that's coming together like we said it was. It truly has all started to happen, and it's all, starting to really show all throughout the world. All right, we're going to start here with The Guardian. Okay, this is from today. Okay, and it says, CV Live News says, rule breaking prompts new Paris curfew threat. Hundreds of thousands of Germans in quarantine. It says, Italy reports 353 CV-related deaths, highest since early May. They're going to continue to do this, right? They got to push the fear, push these numbers that nobody knows, if they're true or not. We're pretty sure we know they're not true, they're false. But it's going to continue to do this. Look, it says some 28,244 new CV infections were recorded over the past 24 hours, up from 22,253 on Monday. One thing that I want to state here too is, do people truly believe that this is all just a coincidence? That all of this is lining up perfectly with not only the U.S. election, but other elections that are going on now, and just lining up perfectly with what they said was going to happen this fall, this winter, and going into, 2021 with their Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, right? Do people really think that that's just a coincidence? It's not just the United States. This is worldwide, and you're going to see it right here. Okay, and another thing real quick with this, it talks about the infections, right? How many times are they going to do this with these cases or infection numbers? I showed you yesterday how the flu, how many actual cases of the flu there are each year, okay? And it was 30 million cases, okay, compared to 8 million cases, that CV has, supposedly, tested positive for that many, which we already know that the test is, so many false positives, et cetera, et cetera. We understand, okay? But, if they were to every single day say, well, each year, oh, look at, you had another 10,000 positive flu cases, it would be higher numbers, and, it would just be, it shows so much that how big of a lie this CV19 is, okay? And this is happening everywhere, okay? Look at this. Poland to use army to manage CV19 beds availability. So they're going to use the army there to say who gets a bed, who doesn't get a bed, right? Look at this. Belgium launches CV patient airlifts to Germany. We're going to get into Germany. We're going to get into a bunch of this stuff. Look at this, hundreds of thousands in CV quarantine in Germany. France considers new Paris curfews as the lockdown rules are flouted. Oh yeah, of course, right? Because we're not listening. You're not listening. I'm not listening. We're still spending time with our family and not completely just going and hiding in our home. So this is what they're going to do. They've been telling us they were going to do this, okay? Look at this. Danish parliament suspends voting after several lawmakers test positive for CV19. See, that's how they can completely stop the government, stop doing whatever they want, and just blame it on this, right? Look at this. Number of infected people doubles in less than 2 weeks in Poland. They're just, everything is trying to throw fear, It's just, it's very obvious what is going on, okay? We see all these lockdowns. We see all these curfews that are happening. And it's very obvious to you and to me that this is just the beginning, okay? We see the writing on the wall, and we know what is coming this winter. You know, we know we're headed into a dark winter. That's why we need to prepare today, okay? It says, hundreds of thousands of people in Germany are in quarantine because they have tested positive for the CV or have come in contact with someone who has CV19, Health Minister Jens Spahn said. Spahn, giving his first news conference since recovering from CV19, said he felt humbled by his experience and was grateful that he had not suffered more serious symptoms. How many of these leaders have now had this, right? Including, President Trump, right? You've had all over the, place. You had Johnson, you've had, you can just keep going. And what happened? They all survived. They all survived very, most of them very quickly, very easily. And because we know it's nothing to worry about. It's just the same thing we get every year. It's a strain of the flu. It's a cold, whatever you want to call it. It's just a normal respiratory infection, okay? And listen to a little bit more here. The health minister said, adding the situation was serious, and November would be a tough month. They're all saying this, okay? They're all saying, it's going to be a hard winter, a tough month, a tough, over and over again. You've had them all coming out and saying this, and it's just, it doesn't stop, and it's like, when are people going to, not keep falling for this, look right here. This was sent to my email, and look at this. CV19, Birx delivers a stark warning to the White House on the eve of election. Listen to this. The virus is consuming the U.S. as the presidential campaign closes. It says ACDC study says pregnant women face higher risk of severe illness. Do you see this? The fear, right? First it was, Asian people, then it was the elderly, then it was African American. Now it is the women, the pregnant women. They've continued to change it on a daily basis, just like they've done with all of the symptoms. We've been talking about this for a long time, how they blurred the lines with the symptoms with the flu. We knew that. This is why we knew that coming into this fall that they were going to use all of these so-called same symptoms where everybody is confused, and not only that, everybody is sick like they always are, okay? This was not hard to see coming because they showed it to us over and over again. Let's read some of this. Listen to this. She says, we are entering the most concerning and most deadly phase of this pandemic, Birx wrote in a White House memo. Listen to this. Deborah Birx, who has carefully straddled the line between science and politics as she helps lead the Trump administration's CV response, delivered a stark private warning on Monday, telling White House officials that the pandemic is entering a new and deadly phase that demands a more aggressive approach. Well, everybody, what do you think this aggressive approach is, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is definitely lockdown, curfew, restrictions, however you want to say it. They are coming, and I'm going to show you that they're already here. They're already happening, okay? And not only that, we know that they're going to start pushing this testing and tracing so much more. Multiple states are already making all these restaurants. When somebody goes into the restaurant, they have to give their ID, give their name and their address when they go into these restaurants. This is what is going to continue to happen, and it seriously is really, really becoming more obvious that we don't have a lot of time, and that we really, really need to, prepare as fast as we can for, what's coming and what's going on right now. And so let's just keep going here, okay? I like how it says, look at the warning sent in a private memo. Well, it isn't private anymore, is it? I'm pretty sure you didn't want it to stay private, did you? Because if you did, we wouldn't be reading about it on the same day or the day after, whatever it is, It says, to the White House officials, as the nation's daily CV caseload has broken records and approached 100,000 amounted to a direct contradiction of President Trump's repeated false assertion that the pandemic is rounding the corner. In it, Dr. Burke suggested Mr. Trump and his advisors were spending too much time focusing on lockdowns and not enough on controlling the virus. Well, what is she saying? What do we need to do then? The lockdowns, so they're going to do the lockdowns, but what else, right? It says we are entering the most concerning and most deadly phase of this pandemic. She says, this is not about lockdowns. It hasn't been about lockdowns since March or April. It's about an aggressive, balanced approach that is not being implemented. See, so they want the lockdowns plus more, right? They want the tracking and tracing. That's why they're going to say stuff like this where they're pushing away from the lockdown. You're still going to have that, but that's not where the headlines are going to continue to go. They want the lockdowns in the headline. They're going to do it, but they also want the testing, the tracking, tracing, and obviously they want you to take the vax, okay? It's coming. It says, the report warned against the type of rallies that Mr. Trump has been holding. It also predicted that the United States would continue to see days when the number of new cases exceeded 100,000. Its existence was first reported by the Washington Post, a top White House official who has seen it confirmed its contents. Oh, okay, so they've confirmed it, see? Well, it definitely wasn't very private, was it? Right? I mean, you can obviously see this. Look, at the blunt message was a striking one for Dr. Birx, who at least in public has resisted disagreeing with Mr. Trump. Notice how they're calling him Mr. Trump instead of President Trump right here? Kind of stood out to me. But with cases soaring around the country, and here we go, right? Hospital intensive care units starting to fill up. Even though that doesn't seem like it's happening, I've had lots and lots of people that have commented and emailed me telling me they work at hospitals or they know family that works at hospitals and ICUs are not full, and so on, okay? But what are they doing? Oh, they're bringing in more morgues, these portable morgues. This is just unreal. It's pure fear. We remember this, right? You remember this when they were talking about all the, the freezers and stuff that they had to bring in for all the dead people before, right? Just like they had to bring those 2 ships in, right, that honestly did nothing. I reported on it. The one had like 119 people total that entire time on that ship, and the other one had like a couple hundred. Nothing. They were never needed. Okay? And look at all the experts, right? It's always the experts. Look at government scientists and public health experts are growing increasingly concerned that the worst of the pandemic is yet to come. Do you hear the fear? Pushing this fear. They are trying so hard. They know they're running out of time. People are catching on, and we don't believe it no more. So they are going to hold on to whoever they got left, and they're going to grip them with that fear and that panic, okay? And we're not going to keep going because I am over talking about this man right here, and it seems almost every time I do a video about him, my channel literally locks down for a day or two. And what I mean by lockdown is my subscribers, I seriously, it's been over 3 weeks now. I hit 2,300, and then right now I'm at 2,310, and it's been a little over 3 weeks already. And before that, when I was just covering the weather and stuff like that, for a week before that, I ended up getting about 400 subscribers in about, it was probably about 10 days. It just shows how much they control, shadow ban, everything. So I'm not going to even say his name right this second, but we're going to keep going, okay? Because I got a lot to show you here. And I'm going to try to do the videos like this a little bit more. Instead of trying to break them down into individual videos, I'm still going to do that because I know you want short, to-the-point videos. But when there's this much stuff like this, I can't make 15 videos. So I'm going to just go through these, these tabs with you, and we'll talk about it, okay? So let me know how you feel about that down in the comments, please. Alrighty. We're going to start showing the curfews, because they are everywhere. Look at the curfew affecting 46 million people to take effect as France records 1 million CV19 cases, right? Cases. Remember, in the United States, on an average flu year, there are 30 million cases. Okay? 1 million CV19 cases. Cases, that's it. 30 million for one season in the United States. People, It's very, very obvious how bad we're being lied to and how bad they are twisting the terminology, changing the words. We've talked about it a lot, okay? Let's keep going here. Look at this, right? It's just non-stop, okay? And these are all from either today or yesterday, each one of these, okay? They are not, from a week ago or anything like that. This one says, Italy imposes nationwide curfew and bans travel to the hard-hit regions. So now you are on a curfew. Not only that, you are now not allowed to go to certain areas. What have we been talking about, right? Targeted areas, targeted populations, right? And you can see that again, like the news today. Now they're talking about, pregnant women are, going to they have much more, bad side effects, and they, it's harder on them. Well, that's because they are getting ready to implement the vax, okay? Check this out really quick. I had to record this for you. I called Walgreens today to check on a prescription, and you need to hear this, okay?
Thanks for calling Walgreens. Just to let you know, Walgreens will be one of 2 pharmacies offering COVID-19 vaccines to residents of long-term care facilities nationwide. But please understand that no vaccines have been approved yet. We're committed to safe and convenient access to COVID inoculations when they are approved and available.
Can anybody still say that that was not the plan from the beginning? That this entire thing was about taking away every right that you possibly had left, locking you down, controlling your every move, tracking and tracing your every move, and then the end goal, the end plan was 100% vax. Let's keep going. We'll read a little bit of this one. It says, Italy will impose a nighttime national curfew and ban travel to hard-hit regions as infection levels continue to rise. In Parliament yesterday, the Italian Prime Minister, Giuseppe Conte, announced a series of restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the virus as infection levels in the country approach 30,000 a day. Okay, this is what I was talking about, okay? Like how I said, it's not like they're always going to come right out and say, everybody's locked down in the entire country. Some are, and some are going to get to that, but they like to do it like this. Just some restrictions, right? Just a curfew, and then it's a level thing. It's not stopping. Now we got to do this. Now we have to extend it, right? That's exactly what has continued to happen everywhere. It's going to be 2 weeks. Nope, now it's a month. Nope, now it's 2 months, right? It says among the measures was a nationwide curfew, which is expected to run between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5 a.m., okay, with exemptions granted for people commuting or seeking medical help. That's it. Wow. It says a curfew is already in place in the regions of Lombardy, Campania, and Lazio, where residents have been asked to remain indoors between the hours of 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. In addition to the curfew, authorities plan to limit people traveling to the hardest hit areas of the country. It says under the measures, which are designed to avoid a full national lockdown, there will also be a reduction of capacity on public transport by 50%. The closing of shopping centers on the weekends, complete closures of museums, and all high schools will be moved to distance learning. Speaking of that, we have a ton in Michigan that are now going to virtual learning. I've been seeing it a lot in the news. I've talked to people, and lots of different high schools and elementaries are all starting to go full-time virtual learning. You're seeing it in other states as well, Massachusetts, New York, lots. It says the Prime Minister also proposed an alert system that would divide the country into 3 tiers of risk, with the highest risk areas subject to the travel restrictions and other measures. Other measures. What other measures? This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about targeted areas. Well, you're the highest risk. Sorry, Eric, you live in the highest risk. You are now under all these restrictions, and we're going to implement these other measures because you're in a hard-hit area. That is the control system, right? And look at the same thing, look at 3 tiers of risk. This is what I'm talking about. They don't come right away and say everybody's locked down, because they know that it would cause, more riots, and they're prepared for the riots. They're ready. They want us to do it, but they want it to come in stages, okay? Because they just want it the easiest on them to be able to control us, eliminate us, and by targeting areas, doing it that way is their best plan. It says Parliament has issued 3 other decrees in the past month, including making mask mandatory outside and enforcing a 6 p.m. closing time for bars and restaurants. You know, I'm going to put a video together on, it was actually an entire study put on just bars and restaurants about to see if they really are these places that are so-called spreading this so bad. And I'm just going to use their numbers because just like I always tell you, I don't believe them. But if you can use their own numbers and then still disprove it, it's even better, okay? And from what I saw on these 2 different studies, it's not even here. These are not even the areas that it's technically, spreading the most in. This is just a control to lock down these places, completely demolish any small business that's left, any medium-sized business, even a large companies are going to start to fold. This is what the plan is, right? Despite the restrictions already in place, infection rates have continued to soar to record levels in Italy, now approaching 30,000 cases a day, up tenfold in a month. This is it, right? Look at this. Oh, the epidemic in recent weeks is worrying. This is what I'm saying, Howard. Do you really think it's a coincidence that all this is happening throughout the entire world right now at one time? People still sit up here every single day and are talking about, oh, it's all the United States, Trump versus Biden, blah, blah, blah. People, it's not just the United States. This is happening worldwide. They are coming after you. They're coming after your children too, and you really, really need to prepare for that. You need to be ready to prepare or ready to protect your family. I'm telling you, there are so many different things out there that I am seeing that are allowing them to come and give your child a test, give your child the vax, or take them to some type of a quarantine center. It's happening, okay? Gotta get ready. Don't fear, don't panic. Remember that. We just need to prepare. Let's keep going. This one says Austria orders curfew and shuts restaurants to fight exploding CV, right? Fear. They have to push it this way. They cannot just, do it normal. They have to do it like this because, trust me, they're losing the fight and they know it, okay? Especially in the United States, they're losing the fight. Let's keep going, okay? Because it just goes on and on. I couldn't believe it. And I'm telling you, I could have put up 30 more tabs of 30 more places that are doing some type of a curfew or restriction starting now. Like right here. These measures save lives. Barcelona police patrol streets enforcing the CV19 curfew. Are you seeing this? Right? It is everywhere. Look at 10 p.m. each night, Barcelona's professional crime fighters become wet blankets in uniforms. It says police officers fan out across the coastal city in northeastern Spain to break up clandestine parties and to clear the streets of young adults drinking alcohol, enforcing a nationwide curfew the Spanish government ordered to slow down the spread of the CV. People, do you see? You're losing every single right you've ever had. If you do not prepare right now and we do not stand up right now, this is going to be exactly what you're going to deal with. You will be under curfew. You will only do what they tell you you can do. People, please share this type of information. Share it. Scream it. Tell them, even if they don't listen, tell them anyways. At least maybe one time they'll catch one part of it and they'll understand that all we've been trying to tell them is that this is coming, okay? Let's keep going. This one here, see, this is, Australia just came out of their lockdown, which was really, really bad. I talked to a lot of subscribers down there, and they still have it bad. Don't let them, don't let these people say, oh, the lockdown has been lifted and it's not as bad. Oh no, they're still under restrictions and all kinds of stuff. It's horrible down there. They said Australian courts dismisses challenge to Melbourne lockdown curfew. So I'm like, all right, so they're fighting back, right? And I wondered why this was like a headline the way that this was. Okay, but check this out. We're going to jump down here. Look at it. Says an Australian court on Monday dismissed a challenge to a curfew that was imposed on the city of Melbourne to help curb the spread of CV19, ruling it was neither illegal nor irrational and did not violate the state's human rights charter. Yes, listen to that, right? The nightly curfew was initially imposed on August 5th, running from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. as part of one of the world's longest and strictest lockdowns, when the state's daily infection peaked above 700 cases. Are you kidding me? Remember, the flu, 30 million cases per season in the United States. Just always remember that. The lockdown was relaxed, see, last week, allowing shops and restaurants to reopen and lifting restrictions on leaving home. Okay, so you're not locked into your house every single minute now. You can go out a little bit, and you can go into certain places, right? Listen to this though, right here. The curfew was challenged by Michelle Lolo, whose lawyer called the curfew a step too far and said it had drastically hurt businesses at her restaurant in a beach town near Melbourne. Well, yeah, it's destroying them, right? But this is the part right here. The curfew was reasonably necessary. This is important. Reasonably necessary to protect public health. Justice Tim Gianni said in his ruling dismissing the case. So the reason this is in the headlines, the reason this came up so easily with me not having to, try to search for it, is because they want you to realize it don't matter what you do. It don't matter if you go and fight this. It's not going to win. You're not going to beat it. Look at Michigan, in my home state. We did end up beating her. We actually won. They won. They took it all the way to Supreme Court. They said it was unconstitutional, said that she overstepped her boundary, said she did not have, the right to do that, the power to do that. But what did it change? Absolutely nothing. Once they struck that one down, all they did is she didn't even have to redo the mask one. The Department of Health did it. So it does not matter who is going to put it into order. You're still going to be dealing with it, okay? And this is just them showing you, well, don't even think you can challenge this because you're not going to be able to. And this story was just unbelievable. This is Sri Lankan Navy. Villagers rescue more than 100 stranded whales. But guess what this is about, right? It should just be an amazing story about them saving these whales, right? It says, right here, villagers defied a novel CV curfew to help rescue the small whales on Monday, wading into the breaking surf to push them back into the sea at Panedra, south of the capital of Colombo. So why, you know what I mean? Like, that's what was brought up, was the curfew. These are, these stories, you just wonder about them. It says we pushed back all of them last night, about 100 to 120 whales. Navy spokesman Captain Indica de Silvia told Reuters. Says 4 of the whales died during the rescue operation. But I mean, that's amazing, right? How many they saved? That's awesome, right? It says I was fishing when I saw a dirt patch and about 100 came ashore. Now that just stands out too. Why did that happen? This is happening everywhere. There is just so much going on. Like I said, It says I don't know why this happened. It's never happened before. This is the first time I've seen it. The phenomenon of whales getting stranded in shallow water remains largely a mystery to scientists, and it's happening more and more and more, right? In September, several hundred whales died in shallows off the coast of Australia, in its biggest stranding on record and one of the largest in the world. It's happening way, way too much, This should have just been a great story, right? But no, it had to be that they defied the curfew. Every story has a reason behind it, okay? It's not just to cover what that story is right there. There's always a reason what they're going to use that story for. Now, here we're back to the United States. This is from 16 hours ago. Massachusetts governor announces stay-at-home advisory, a mask order, and restaurant curfew. Everybody, this is worldwide. This isn't just, in these other countries. It's not just in the United States. I'm going to continue to say it over and over again so that you realize it is so much bigger than whoever you're trying to vote for today if you're in the United States, or if you're in whatever country you're in. If you're in an election, it's bigger. You have to understand this now, okay? Look at this. The data points to a clear need to do something about these trends now, Governor Charlie Baker said. Of course, right? Oh, we got to do something, right? Because these numbers from Johns Hopkins University are skyrocketing, right? Oh, man. Massachusetts will go under a stay-at-home advisory and curfew for most businesses in an effort to curb a spike in the CV19 cases and hospitalizations. We've seen this coming, everyone. We've been talking for months. We knew it, okay? So CV cases in the state were up 278%, and hospitalizations have increased by nearly 150% since Labor Day, Republican Governor Charlie Baker announced during a Monday news conference. As of Monday, the state reported 155,660 CV19 cases. Remember, I'm going to say it one more time, 30 million cases on average in the United States in a typical flu season. You understand, too, that the flu season is 6 months or less, okay? Or somewhere around 6 months, let's just say. Well, what are we now? We are in what? The 10th month? You want to say the 9th month? If, whatever. But I would say I think we've had 10 full months of this so-called pandemic. And we're where? Oh, that's right. 8 million. Or no, that's right. 9.1. That's right. So you've had 4 extra months. And, the flu still has. Unreal, right? 21 million more flu cases. Oh, people need to see this, right? And this is it. Look, we need to do something. Well, what do we know what it is, right? Look, the simple truth is too many of us have become complacent in our daily lives, see? Means you and I, we're not listening, and you all need to realize this is really going to start to get bad, okay, when it comes to, like, the mask order, the testing, and then obviously the vax. They're doing everything they can to make you and I look like the bad person, okay? And they're doing it. They're making us look like domestic terror, So we really, really just need to be prepared, okay? If you stay a step ahead, 2 steps ahead, that's what you need to do, all right? Here we go. Look at this. Trump's likely super spreader rally bust CV curfew in Florida. So now it's going to be a super spreader event because he had people together. And not only that, it broke the curfew. Yeah, it's just, it's one after another. And then what does it lead up to, right? I showed you this yesterday. Fearing the civil unrest from Election Day, the U.S. businesses are getting ready. That's right. Because they know what's coming. These governments know what's coming. All right? It's on its way. And everybody can see this. All right? And like I was telling you, how there is no doubt that it seems like they are, just ramping everything up so fast. And it's going to lead into so much more. It's going to lead into, massive testing, massive tracking and tracing. They're going after everybody. They want you to download this app. They want you to, tell them everything about you. Like I said, if you go to a restaurant, you can't even, you have to leave your name, show them your ID, and leave your address, a phone number. People, it's just time to do this right now. We have to share this information. Tell everybody that you can, because truly, January 1st, I think we're going to be living in a totally different world. If we're not already in one, think about it. Just think about a year ago today. We were nothing like this, okay? We all saw some of this coming, but we never saw it coming under a medical martial law the way that they've done it. So we just need to prepare, okay? And please get right with God if you have not. Please pray today. Hit your knees. Ask for forgiveness. I am begging you to do this, please. You need to be saved right now. There is so much evil being unleashed. You see it every day. You can see the evil every day. Okay? And you need to have the full armor of God. So please, if you haven't, ask for forgiveness today. I promise you, you will never regret it. Everybody, stay safe, stay strong. I love you all. Protect your families at all costs, please. We'll talk to you real soon. God bless.